You're listening to Creatively Geeky, the support group for your creative process.
That's the wrong show. Hello and welcome to the Creatively Geeky Show. I'm your host for the evening, Eugene Stevens. Tonight I'm joined by Ray, Kris, and Cyrus. How are y'all doing?
That's accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Pardon me. Tonight is our catch-up episode where we talk about the things that we've been working on or hope to work on since the last time we did this. I want to say the last time we did this episode was February, maybe January. It's been a minute. Yeah, because there's something on here about a sweater, so I don't think. Well, I mean, although y'all been getting some cool weather, so. Well, that being said, let's go ahead and just get right on into it. Who would like to go first as to what they've gotten done and what they've been working on?
I'll go first.
All right, Kris, on your list, you had finish sweater and dabble in writing.
Oh, I was really nice to myself.
You what? Everyone was nice to themselves this last time.
I did finish my sweater.
Mm-hmm.
I did. It's hot as balls though to put on. So because of the way I did it, it's a granny square. So I have to wear like a t-shirt or a tank top underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's.
I was going to say you didn't have to, but you wouldn't be able to.
I'm wear it outside if I don't. It's very, very warm. So I only wore it once, and I think I lasted about a half an hour in it before I'm like, nope, too hot. And then I haven't put it back on since, but it's in my closet and it's folded very lovely with all the rest of my knit sweaters that I have. So yeah, it was one arm is a little wonkier than the other.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I'm like, it's turned out all right.
Nice.
So,
Is the warmth because of the material, or is it because of the pattern or whatever, or is it a function of both?
maybe both.
Mostly material.
Probably because crochet uses like a lot of yarn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I just because of the way you have to do it. So I think because
It's probably heavier.
It's just heavier. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Fine.
Have you ever considered doing a red and green striped sweater?
I have not. I don't know what that's in reference to, but
Freddy Krueger comes
Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never watched any of those, so that went.
Just something to think about, you know.
It'd have
For
to be
you?
a pretty tight knit. It's more of a knitted sweater than a crochet.
Yeah, and I can't knit.
Although that would be hilarious to see is just like a full-on crocheted version.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's out there. It probably wouldn't take me long to find a pattern.
You could do like a mitten instead of a glove, you know.
That'd be fantastic.
Somebody's done it. Somebody's done it for sure.
You would think. And then the other thing you had was dabble in writing.
Yes, and so I have been writing, not consistently, but I will go on spurts. So I think I'm almost at 14,000 words with this edit
version of this edit. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm doing it in like smaller bites.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just gonna keep at it. I downloaded Wattpad because I'm old and have just heard about it. I think I might not this story, but another one that I want to do. It'll be a series of short stories. So I was thinking of maybe putting it up there, seeing what happens. One of Logan's teachers has actually won a Wattpad award. She actually has written a few books and it's won an award. So I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah.
It is really cool.
Yeah. So I was thinking about doing that and seeing how that goes. But yeah, I'm happy with the progress that I've made. I'm still trying to remind myself that this is a hobby. This is a hobby. This is a hobby. Which is making it better and a little bit more fun to write. And then I keep putting the computer in front of him. He did make a rule though. He's like,
chapter needs to be done.
Chapter needs to be done. Then I will read it.
And and
Yeah. Instead of like halfway things.
instead of like, okay, where did I leave off?
Yeah, because it's more for him to remember where he is. But yeah, so it's a good little kind of like little mini goal for me to be like, oh, I have to finish this so Ray can read it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Have you been working on anything else in addition to, or?
Organizing your books.
Oh no, yeah. So because we're getting a new bookcase in, I have
Spoilers.
anyway. I decided that it would be a really good idea to take all of the books from all over the house and put them in piles.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a lot of books. And he's got a lot of graphic novels and comic books. So, and then I started putting the piles together of the books I haven't read yet. And I'm like, oh, there's more than I thought there was. And my sister, she's a big reader too, but she only buys one book at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So she thinks I'm nuts because I have this like gigantic to be read pile. She thinks it's just,
and we still buy more books, which
and
I support. So.
and I still buy more because sequels and stuff. So, I have to continue the series. So I have like, I've probably got like 30, maybe 30, 35. I thought I only had like maybe 20, but it might be up to 50 because now I forgot about the books that are actually upstairs. On the dresser and on my nightstand.
Yeah, you're closer to 50 for sure.
So I decided to do that, and then I decided to kind of organize them by author, and then gave up halfway through because I was like, I streamed them all too far across the house. And anyway, I did that today.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what else have I been doing?
Hi.
Not a lot. We're coming up to a warmer season now, so next week I'm going to start doing yard work. So that'll be things that I will be doing, but I couldn't do it until like all the shitty weather. We're probably going to get like a couple more bouts of shitty weather, but like really cold, frosty weather is done.
Mm-hmm.
I can actually like rake some leaves and pull some weeds and stuff like that and figure out what I want to do this year. So that's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, no, nothing. Pantry, organize the pantry.
Yeah,
I've got that going.
Nice.
And I'm happy with what I've been doing with it so far. Because now I have shelves that I can use.
Spoilers.
Deal with it. You should have gone first then.
Well, he can go next then.
So I think that's it. That's all I can remember right now.
Nice. Well, speaking of which, Ray, you had nothing. Literally, you gave yourself nothing to do. You were like, I'm tired. I don't know what else is going on.
I think this was January.
Yeah, because we were just getting
better. We're just getting over being sick. We had, there was a lot going on. So, yeah. Well, I didn't succeed at doing nothing. I purchased some hinges and a bunch of wood and figured out how to put in a bookshelf door.
A Murphy door, yes.
It's a Murphy door, but it's so it is a bookshelf. Now it's designed to be a Murphy door. It's a Murphy door, but I had to build the frame as well because the door frame that currently existed was way too small. So I built a bookcase frame first, and then I built in the Murphy door on that. And I think it actually helps so that it looks like it's actually built in. This weekend will be more trim to get it in and make it look like it's actually a bookcase rather than a swinging bookcase right now. So I'm excited to get that part done and kind of keep going with it. But yeah, that's kind of been the last couple of weeks anyway. I took a week off too.
At the beginning of April.
And there was some fun challenges. I'm glad I remembered how to use a plumb bob and how to make a plumb bob, because that was really handy on figuring out where the bottom hinge and the top hinge should go. So because I started with the bottom hinge in order to allow like where the path of travel and all that stuff was going to go, and then to line it up I was like, okay, well I need the the top one. So I literally had a plumb bob, and if you don't know what a plumb bob, just look it up. Piece of string with a wheel on the end of it, and so I hung it up at the top, kind of lined up where it needs to be, put it in, made a mark, and then made it go from there. So, yeah, I'm actually really happy with the way it turned out.
You should be. It looks fantastic.
Thanks. Yeah. Got my router out, and I at one point it wouldn't open because, of course, to make it all level, this house is not level at all. It's built in 1900. So to make it all level, the wall slopes into the bookcase like this.
Mhm.
So the bookcase is here. The top is closer than the bottom, despite this being plumb. So when I went to swing it out, it would hit the wall. So I had to use a 45-degree router bit on one of the corners, router that off, round it off nicely, make sure it's all good, and then it worked. So, which is good. Very
nice.
So, but yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to. I'm trying to think of any other.
No, we just took it easy. This is winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I helped Logan with some art stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She was working on some stuff about with watercolors, so I talked to her about a couple of different techniques with that, and that got me itching on some drawings that I do want to do, but I haven't pulled the trigger on those just yet.
Fair enough. Yeah, it looks fantastic. Your work on it looks awesome. So people who've come over to see the new house, I've told them, I'm like, wouldn't it be awesome to do a Murphy door here going into my office? And of course, everyone's just like, oh my god, that would be fantastic. And Chrissy, the way Chrissy tells us, like, yeah, because our Canadian friends. He's built one, and all I've heard for the last 2 weeks is, well, Ray has one, and I'm like, I did not do that. I just said he did a great job of making one.
You definitely did that.
I did not.
He kicked a rock while he was saying it.
Probably, yeah. But no, seeing what you've done, I was just like, yeah, this has to happen. It's unfortunately I had an event today that is probably going to put that off for a little bit, but I still have plenty of work ahead of me, so it's not like it was something I was going to do this weekend and it got pushed off or something. So anyway,
I will admit, so once it was in and it was all done and I'm in, I'm like, okay. Now I got to put a cat door in that thing.
Yeah, we had to put the cat door in because now we moved her litter box to downstairs. She figured out Logan helped with a lot of treats.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got her. So she uses the cat door now. But I was like, I don't want to cut a hole in this thing. It works right now. And if I screw it up anyway, thankfully it's in, it worked, and it's working. So
nice.
She just went downstairs.
Yeah. That's what made me remind.
Cyrus, you want to go next?
Yeah.
You literally had cook more ?
Well, I'm definitely cooking more.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, my daughter moved out, so I'm cooking for me, and I'm not getting any kind of fast food because God, who can afford fast food? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm cooking all kinds of stuff. I made a big roast the other day with the potatoes and carrots and corn and all kinds of good stuff. It was nice.
If you're open to it, we have some great recipes that I'd share with you that this person likes to make. So
I'm definitely open to it.
There's a chicken stew that we had last night. It's fucking fantastic. And then it's we had it with onion soup mixed bread.
Oh, nice.
Onion soup mixed bread.
Oh yeah. A little bit of cheddar cheese in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's really
Oh my.
Yeah.
That does sound good.
It's very good. It's a very dense bread, but it's very
like put the recipes in our chat or whatever.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
So are you mainly cooking things that you already know, or are you exploring a little bit, like going online and looking up stuff, or
I haven't gotten too crazy yet,
Mhm.
but I'm like, these are good ideas. I like these ideas. I'm open to new things.
Nice.
It's so weird.
Correct.
Did I tell you that I was collecting DVDs?
Yeah.
Yes. So have you made some advancement on that?
Yes. I've been going on adventures.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Did you get Lord
Uh,
of the Rings on DVD?
well, I almost bought the Blu-ray versions, but there's different versions, and I got confused, so I didn't.
Yeah.
But I did go by Goodwill, and they had some DVDs that were like $3 each.
Hmm.
So I picked, yeah. So I picked up a few, some that I'd seen, some that I hadn't. And I've been to Walmart a couple of times and raided their $5 DVD bin. Uh, Man, you want to talk about some deals? They have these discs that have like 5 movies on one disc for $5.
Yep.
I mean, not on
Hey.
one disc, but in one
Yeah.
thing.
Watching. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Actually, Eugene, you might find this interesting. I bought a DVD that has 3 Bill Murray movies on it, and it's Stripes and Groundhog Day and Ghostbusters,
Hmm.
all on one disc. I
Nice.
mean, not one disc, but one set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah.
I was like, damn, this is nice. I'm just enjoying, like, I'm not trying to build like a huge collection, but I'm enjoying putting together a nice little library for me to watch when
Hmm.
I eventually get so old that I leave the internet, you know, which
So
might not be too long. We'll see how long that takes.
I did think about you the other day. We were in our own kind of like it's a restore is what it's called, and they have old VHSs as well. And there's a couple of VHSs. I was like, oh, we should grab that and send it down, but it's DVDs, which I know. So, but we'll keep our eye out if there's any interesting DVDs up there. We'll.
I appreciate it. It's funny you say the VHS thing. Like, my buddy Max, who does the Mad Max movies and entertainment, he's collecting tapes of all kinds, and he does audio and video. And I have a VCR, and since he finally found out that I have a VCR, he's like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna get you this," and I'm like, "Dude, I'm not looking for VHS." He goes, "Oh, don't worry, we're gonna get you hooked up." And I'm like, "Shut up, dude." So I'm going to visit up there over the summer, and he's promised. I want to say threatened, but he's promised that we're gonna go tape hunting. And I'm like, I don't want to. I'm like, whatever, we'll go tape hunting.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Oh no! I got to the counter and I forgot all the stuff back at the thing. Oh well.
Oh no.
Yes.
He's sneaky though, because like I watched his videos where he goes tape hunting with his dad, and
Hmm.
he'll be like, "Hey, Dad, look, it's Top Gun," and his dad's like, "Oh yeah, I remember that." And he goes, "Oh, I'll go ahead and buy this." And then they get in the car, and he's like, "Here's Top Gun, I got it for you." And he's like, "I didn't even want you to get me anything." He goes, "Yeah, but you gotta have Top Gun." He's like, "Fine, I'll take Top Gun."
That's
I have flashbacks to when you and I used to go uh, hunting for NES games at the pawn shops around
Oh,
here.
dude, those are the days. I wish I still had my NES collection. I unfortunately had to sell that a while back. Uh,
Mhm.
but good Lord, back in the day when we did that, that was before anybody was doing that. And
Yes.
I got so many. I got like, dude, I had like everything. And I mean, the most I spent was like $6 or $7 on a game, you know? And I had it boxed, like, full inbox of all of the Zeldas and, Metroid and all tons of freaking Nintendo games, man. Your
yeah.
pawn shops in that area are legendary.
Yeah, being in a military town, because I mean, a lot of times well, at least used to back in the day, they have a collection or something, and they'd be like, "Oh man, I'm getting PCS somewhere else. I don't really want to take all this. I'll just take it to a pawn shop and sell it for, pennies on the dollar. And then they would jack it up. But even their jacked up price was insanely low still.
Well, they had so much stuff. They were just trying to get rid of it. Like, I would go in there and be like, how many NES games do you have? And they like, do you want them? And I'm like, well, I was like, hang on. And they're like, we'll give you all these for like $25. And I'd be like, okay. I mean, that was, I remember when I bought that camcorder back when we were in college.
Oh, yeah.
And they had like 150 different camcorders. They were just trying to get rid of like they were like, what do you give us? Like, what would you give us for this? And I was like, damn, this is amazing.
Yeah, and then we figured out eBay and stuff, and they're like, nope, I'm putting all this stuff online and mark it up to 5,000%
This
higher.
was before that. This was before.
Oh, yeah.
Once eBay came along, that was the end of all that. But
yeah, pretty much.
Once upon a time.
Yep.
I was there, Gandalf.
Yes, I was there 10,000 years ago. I saw it all.
Well, have you been working on anything else?
I mean, no.
It's fine. This show is not to prosecute anyone. This is just to kind of
I plead the fifth.
up.
I will not. This is an assault on my character.
I know what you had been doing. You were playing Resident Evil 3.
Oh yeah.
So you never played it back in the day?
Never.
Wow.
Ever. Because it came out after I had already moved on from PlayStation. Like when it came down, I already had a Dreamcast, and so I played Code Veronica. You know, I wasn't playing no Resident Evil 3. I was like, whatever. Like I'm, that's old. I'm moving on. And so no, I never did. I kept meaning to go back to it, and I'm gonna play through it again on my PS3 because I have a digital legit copy that I bought. It was fun playing through it on the emulator, but it's a pretty good game. It's just kind of short, it's not very long. But it was pretty fun. It wasn't hard at all though. That's the easiest Resident Evil I've ever played. Like,
I mean, you did have it on easy mode, but yeah, even then, like the amount of ammo and like the fact that you beat the game and never even got the rocket launcher.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I will definitely won't play it on easy mode again because I had maybe 150 grenades that I never got the grenade launcher ever, and I was like, wow, like. But anyway, yeah, video game stuff, blah 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 blah
blah. So I did not. The only thing I had on mine, I must have been an idiot. I said work on proton packs. That didn't happen. I guess in my brain I thought, oh, you know what? I've got a little time before we move in. Oh, that's what it was. You said because this was January, so yeah, I probably thought, okay, I've got a little time. I'll try to work on some of this at work, and then work's just been busy with updates, and we actually just finished state testing. That we've been doing that for the last 3 weeks. But yeah, work got busy, and then. I literally, let's see, if we did record this in January, I really need to go back and look at it. I sold my other house, my original house. I moved out of said house into my mother's house, where we stayed for a month and a half, and then finished building this house and moved into this house. And that's what I've been doing is I have been moving and getting stuff set up. And I tried to start the other day posting some pictures on Instagram, like, hey, look, I got this finished and it's ready to go. I'm excited about it. But I fell off of that very quickly because I keep running into situations where I start working on a project or I start working on a room and I get 60, 70, 80, maybe even 90% done with it. And then I'm waiting on something else. I'm waiting on, like before the show, I was talking to Ray and was saying that, I keep running into issues of like if I put something together and it goes together just fine, and then I go to install it, like if it hangs on the wall or something like that, and the anchors they sent me are the wrong size, or the screws for the anchors are the wrong size, or they tell me to drill the wrong size hole for the anchor, so I've got to go get different anchors to put in to fill that hole, and it has slowed me down. And then the other thing that keeps happening is, oh well, this has come up. I need you to focus your energy here in this room to get this done. So I've got quite a few projects kind of sitting around the house that are, like I said, between 60 and 90% done. And I either just can't get back to them to finish them, or, I'm waiting on something or other to happen with said item. But that being said, like, so our bedroom's really coming along. Like last night, I've literally just put together my closet last night, because I was like, I'm tired of wearing the same clothes that I've pretty much been wearing for the last month and a half, because I've been living out of a suitcase. I was like, nope, gonna get the closet done. So I did get that done. But like there were several things to the house that Chris and I wanted done that I had to kind of take on myself. So for example, they didn't give us an option about the towel holders. Like, so they were still using the old school, it's basically got some kind of a pole that comes out and a loop, and that's what you wrap it on. And we're like, we don't want that. Like that's old. We want like just a modern, very clean bar that you can actually put the towel on and it will actually dry on. And so we told them we don't want it, don't install. They're like, okay. They installed them anyway. And so they had to come uninstall them and fix those or whatever. But then like that was one of the things I had to get done. It was like, okay, so I guess I need to get this taken care of so that we can actually have dry towels and stuff. I will say, as long as it wasn't something like furniture trying to put up on the wall, I invested in a few small things that has changed the world for me when it comes to hanging stuff. First off, I already had these from Christmas, before Christmas. Anyway, I finally have, so if you're listening to the show, if you don't have a drill and a driver, go do that right now. That makes a huge amount of difference. The reason is because the driver, you have your bit in there, whether it be a Phillips or a flathead, or the Robertson bit if you're up in Canada. Yeah, Ray and I had a conversation about that. Yep, there he goes. Anyway, but you have your driver that you have like your screwdriver in, and then you have your drill, and so you're not constantly drill the hole and then you take out the drill bit and then you put in the other bit, and you have to keep going back and forth. The fact that you can literally like almost two-fist it like a gunslinger it speeds things up so much. If you've always been like, well, do I really need both? Yes, you need both. They are, and they actually act. I didn't realize this until I started using them. They act differently. Like a drill has more power to it, and the driver bit actually is set so how much torque do you want to have this thing so you don't strip anything out and everything. Anyway, that was the first thing. The second thing I actually asked for Christmas, after watching one of my Ghostbuster buddies work on some stuff, a center punch. Basically has a sharp metal piece on the end of it, and you just take it, and it's got a little spring loaded thing in it, and it looks kind of like a pin, and you just push it in, and it causes a little divot, whether it be on the wall, whether it be on metal or wood or whatever. And that has become indispensable to me because it's very small. Like I said, it's about the size of a pin. And when you go to look for, if you're trying to hang something, it's small enough it will go into most holes, and you just push it through and it automatically puts a little divot on the wall. And not only does that do two things. One, it marks where it is you're supposed to be installing the screw or nail or whatever. But number two, it also causes your drill bit not to walk off. Like it will stay within that little group and stay right where it's supposed to be. I can't tell you, after doing that multiple times, I was just like, oh my God, like I'm not having the thing where, you get one side up and you go to put the other side up and you're just like, that's a little bit off, because it punched through right where it was supposed to. And the last thing, I went ahead and spent the money. It was only like $30. But I bought a laser level that has like a horizontal and a vertical on it that actually like broadcast very widely. And so when I was putting up like the towel bars in the bathroom, I basically asked Christy, how high do you want this? And she's like, oh, about this high. So I got just a very cheap tripod and set it up and put the laser level on it, and just it's broadcasting this straight beam all the way across. Like, it looks professional. It looks like I did a professional job because everything's nice and even. There's no multiple holes or anything because all the holes were punched correctly. And what took the longest was just figuring out how high or centered or like that, just doing those measurements. But once you get the measurements done, I was knocking shit out left and right. And I was like, oh my God, I wish I could go back and tell Eugene from 19 years ago who was setting up his previous house, dude, just spend the money. Just buy these 3 things. It will save you a world of hurt. So
for your drill, you can get a centering bit as well.
Yes.
So that it puts you drill the hole within the space. So you put your whatever it is that you're putting in, like a bracket, or if you're putting in hinges or whatever it is, you put it up, and then this centers the drill bit to the center of the hole, and then that way that also works. And that's something that I keep looking for, and I just haven't bought yet. So
I had decided if I was going to have to do something, especially with like hinges or something on something like that, I was like, no, that would be worth it. Cause I've started watching some more and more makers on YouTube, and like, that's like, especially woodworkers. They're just like, guys, just do this. Just save yourself all the headache in the world.
Yep. Get the basic tools. Get the right basic tools.
Yep. Because he's like, there's nothing worse than trying to put in 3 screws on a hinge and 2 of them go in right, and then that third one's a little off, and now the hinge is a little cattywampus.
Yep.
And so now it doesn't quite. It either causes it to stay open or it won't close, or yeah. So yeah, it's one of those things that Adam Savage keeps talking about it over and over again. He's like, you don't have to buy the most expensive version, but go buy the right tool. And then you can figure out what you like about it and don't like about it. And then you can go buy the expensive version, but go buy the right tool, and it will change your world. So I know, because I keep running into situations where I'm just like, I have a tool that would be great for this, and it's somewhere in the garage and I have no idea where it is. So, because talking about doing this work, so like the boys' rooms are probably about, well, they're pretty much together. We just have to like hang up their like artwork and stuff like that. The guest room still needs some more work. Our bedroom's coming along pretty well. The living room for the most part is done. That was something else I got to tell you. This is, if you follow me on social media, you will have seen my post. But I was extremely excited, and I know this is just a geeky dad thing. But I mounted, it's not like it was a new TV. It was not like it was a new surround system or anything like that. Well, it was a new surround system, but it's not like all the equipment was brand new or anything. But I mounted my TV and I installed what's basically going to be the new entertainment system. And I mounted like the Switch and the Xbox and the router all behind the television. I ran all of the walls through the wire, or through all the wires to the wall. And quite literally, if you go to my social media, you can see it. You can see one wire, and that's the plug going to the subwoofer. And there's about that much of it showing, and it's on the ground. And that's it. Everything else is hidden, and I absolutely love it. This is a dream come true for me, as weird as that sounds. So, because
it's not weird at all, man. I can't wait to do the bookcase here, because I'm going to be doing the same thing where every wire is going to be routed to behind the TV properly and like hidden within the bookcase. And I can't wait, because when I build the bookcase, I know that I'm going to build it in such a way that you're able to access what you need to access, but hide what you want to hide as well. So,
yep. I probably could have used a little bit more space in the drawer that's in the entertainment center that Christy bought, but I can get all the controllers in there, and like the headphone I'm wearing right now can all fit in there. So like some of the extra stuff that I might have kept with it, and it'll stay in my office, which is just a few bases away. But yeah, the fact that everything's hidden, and I'm so excited about it. Like I said, I know it sounds kind of stupid, but it drove me insane. Y'all all have been to my previous house,
Yeah.
even though there were like maybe 2 or 3 wires, and that
Yeah.
was it that hung down from the TV to where the entertainment system was. It drove me insane, and it was something that I could have fixed. But when I initially installed that mount for that television, it was originally for like a 50-inch plasma, and they were heavy as hell. Like I had to have Lewis come over and help me install it because they were so heavy. And because back then, when people were first starting to mount these types of TVs to the wall, the mount was literally like, here's the wall, here's the mount,
Yep.
here's the TV, and like there's zero clearance.
Yeah.
So like all the wires had to have like a 90-degree angle, otherwise they'd be all bent to hell and everything. So it was an act of Congress trying to get that TV off anytime I had to plug or unplug something. It was a major monumental thing, because I was like, all right, babe, I need you to come help me. Even with the newer, lighter TV, I was like, all right, babe, I need you to help me take the TV off. Now you're gonna have to hold it while I get back there and do all the stuff I need to do. And then we got to put it back on there and make sure everything works. And this I can just, kind of pull out from the wall, shift it around, do everything I need to do. There is something to be said about, a lot of people are like, well, they don't make things like they used to. And in some cases, good. So
I have, since we lived in one of the first purchases like to put the TV on the wall.
mhm.
I was so disappointed with what you were talking about. I've always ever gone since that moment. I've always gone with the ones that pull out and like rotate and adjust, because that's the only way I'm gonna mount that freaking thing.
Oh
on the
yeah.
wall. So
And here's an interesting thing. So at least down here in Texas, when you move out of a house, if you have put a TV mount on the wall, they expect you to leave it.
yep. Same with up here. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. Like that was new to Christy and I talked to some people and they're like, "Yeah, I haven't moved in a while. I didn't know that was a thing." I was like, "Yeah, that's a thing. So if you got to, even if it's in some kind of weird wonky place, they want you to leave it." So I'm like, "Okay, just
Yeah.
yes,
It
that's a thing."
it was actually something that her cousin, when we bought the place, she asked, she's like, I'm supposed to leave it. I said, it's fine. We have our own. You can take yours.
Mhm.
And she
Mhm.
said, well, I'm leaving anyway. I don't need to have any use for it. I'm like, great. That one's going downstairs now for the other TV so that I can use it when I'm rowing. So,
Yeah,
which is what we did.
Mhm.
nice. Yeah, so that's what I've been working on. So before we get into the future projects, I had seen someone say something, and I posted on the back channel for this, and I just wanted to kind of not like it's a major topic to talk about, but I just wanted to bring it up. Did everyone see where I posted about someone lamenting the fact that you will have more hobbies than you will have time in your life to do them or to fully explore them? Did that hit y'all like it hit me? Because that kind of hit me.
So I think
No.
it didn't hit me because it's just something I've always dealt with.
Mhm,
I know I have way more interests than I'll ever have time
Yeah.
to
mhm.
continue, and I'm okay with that. I'm actually, something that Kris loves is an unfinished painting or an unfinished drawing. She loves finding those, and
Mhm.
like there was some of Da Vinci stuff that we found when we were over in London, and we were looking at some of his sketches and stuff like that. And yeah, it's the unfinished ones are actually, they tell a story, and
Yeah.
they show your process as well, which is kind of cool. So
I will say I am sad that I won't be able to read all the books.
yes,
That would fall under that. That would fall under that category.
That's really fun though. Everything else, I'm like, I'm okay with that. That's fine. But the book one, yeah. I'd be like, oh, it's like,
so I mean, maybe that's, if we can build it so we can download our consciousness, that'd be all right.
yeah, I do that.
I'd be fine with that,
You
but
can read all the books. I'd have all the fun to read.
I'd say this is maybe something that could evolve when your children move out.
mhm,
When you don't have the everything going on in a whirlwind with all the kids, then you might find that this is a little different. I mean, maybe, maybe
Fair
not.
enough.
Yeah.
Like I'll admit, as the kids have gotten older, we definitely have more time to do some of these things. Like I wouldn't have been drawing or painting anything that I've been doing lately. The kids being, painting, definitely the woodworking.
The woodworking. Yeah. Just because of the mess. Yeah. So. That you leave behind.
Yes. I don't leave screws or anything like that behind anymore.
You leave drill bits.
Drill bits, yes, I do.
Like
there's a lot of Robinsons out there, so
yeah, there are sockets now.
Or 10 mil.
10 mil sockets. Yeah. I will say Christy has been very good about basically we now have a giant island, and about half of it is taken up with drills, drill bits, all the tools that I'm using. Now I've got them nice and organized. They're not just laying everywhere, but she's just like, there's no use in you putting these things up every night and taking them back out and everything else. She's like, because you're constantly using them. I think also it's like, well, if I don't make him do that, stuff will get done faster. So, but that's an interesting perspective, Cy. Mainly because the where I heard it was on a show with 3 guys, 2 of them don't have kids, and the one guy does have kids. But they're all just kind of like universally like, yeah, I've kind of come to accept it that I'm just not going to be able to do everything I kind of want to do. So,
yeah. Well, I think it's probably going to hit you. This is just my theory. It would probably hit somebody more who's had kids when the kids move out than someone who never had kids, because if you've had kids, then you've had to like eke out a little bit of free time here and there and figure out how to spin plates and make it work and da 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 da. Somebody who's never had kids has had a lot of extra sleep and free time. So yeah, you might find yourself kind of like in shock, because you're like, oh well, I guess I'll go work on that now, kind of thing.
But I feel like that's gonna save everybody, like you guys, when you hit retirement, right? Is all of the now all of the thing you can like go balls to the walls, because there's nothing holding you back. We found that people we know who have retired and have had no hobbies, they're the ones who struggle.
Oh yeah.
So bored that they go back to work because they don't have anything outside of like going golfing occasionally or like taking a vacation or whatever. They don't have anything that they can like sit down and like do for an hour or whatever, and then like pack away or something small in the house that they could do there. Like, it's all these big, expensive hobbies that require, that you can do for like a week or 2, but then that's it. So that's what we found. But I think, when the kids move out, it's definitely, that's a lot of time.
Yep. And when I retire, that's even more time.
More time.
You want to hear something interesting? My brother, Manon, I don't talk with him a whole lot. He lives in Dallas. We just don't see each other that much because we don't work together anymore. And, it is what it is. But he's going to come over here next weekend, because he texted me the other day. We were talking about this. He's like, hey, do you like Formula One racing? I was like, what the hell? Like, what are you talking about? Do I like Formula One racing? Does you like F1 racing? And I'm like, well, I guess. I mean, I like the video games, and I like the looks of the cars, and the speed of it. And it's cool, yeah. He goes, well, I'm obsessed with it. And I was like, when did this happen?
I know, right?
But apparently, you have to subscribe to some service to be able to watch the races when they happen. And he's subscribed to this. So he's going to come over next weekend, and we're going to watch F1 racing. And he's just been talking with me about it. And I'm like, dude, I love racing. I don't really watch NASCAR because it's so,
Also left. Left.
Yes,
Left.
that's true. But the F1 stuff is fascinating because those are like rockets. Those aren't really like cars. They're
Well, and the fascinating thing about the F1 is that that technology, when they talk about efficiencies and all those things, they eventually spread down to the vehicles that we drive. Like, there's a lot of those technologies, like how to make an engine more efficient and how to get more horsepower out of a smaller engine, how to reduce the weight of the vehicles but still make it strong.
okay. So you need to come over next weekend so we can all watch
I have a feeling I'll be a little far away.
I
And
thought
see,
about
oh, go on.
I was just gonna say I thought about asking my daughter if she wanted to come over, but I was like, I don't know. Like, is this? I mean, maybe. I don't know. She likes a lot of cool stuff that I like. I don't know how she
Um,
feel about it.
if I've been told, I haven't watched it yet, but the F1 series on, is it Netflix or
Yes, it's on, I know what you're talking about.
apparently watching that is like what gets a lot of people into these races. So
Mhm.
Mm.
you can check that out too.
I don't have Netflix. I don't have services anymore.
Uh,
I I have Amazon, but that's whatever. You know.
if you want some background noise, this is not a plug. They don't sponsor us at all. Pluto TV. We actually checked them out.
Mhm.
It's not a bad little service, and they have Star Trek: The Next Generation on there. So
Oh well, Pluto. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're free.
Yeah.
That's so it's the rise of the what do they call it? Fast service. They're calling them fast services. And to the point that even the big guys are just like Netflix is talking about doing it, and I think Disney's even talking about doing it, creating channels
yeah,
that's literally just like, okay, so here's all of the Disney Saturday morning cartoons just basically on a continuous loop that you just
Oh
switch
yeah.
over and it would be like watching old school television. But in this case of like Pluto, it is literally like watching old school TV, but it's 100% free.
and
Yeah, Hasbro does that with the GI Joe and Transformers cartoons.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
yeah. So Pluto, you have the live channels, but you also have some that you can watch on demand as well, which is kind of cool too. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
and I thought there was going to be a lot of commercials. It's
not
not bad.
No, it's fine.
It's like we're watching regular TV. So at least
Huh.
up here.
Wow, this is weird. We're coming full circle. Like we
Yeah.
had cable, then we got rid of cable, we cut the cord, then we brought back cable
Yeah.
without the cord, but with different commercials. Like they
And
were like,
and everyone's consolidating or they're about to start. So yeah, we're about to be back down to like 3 services. But it's gonna be like before even cable. It's gonna be like freaking, when you had like 4 broadcast networks.
wow,
Yeah.
it's
So
weird.
it is weird.
Sorry, so I don't mean to hijack the conversation.
Yes,
here.
you do.
Well, I'm gonna anyway. I'm a big fan of Watcher. I don't know if either of you had heard what happened with YouTube
Mhm.
and the Watcher channel
No.
this weekend. So Friday they announced that they were going to leave YouTube and put all their stuff behind a paywall.
Oh, they got
They're
they
going
got
to create their own streaming service that you could pay $60 a year for, or $6 a month for. But that was a $6 American, and what they forgot was that a lot of their staff or a lot of their fans are international, and
Mhm.
so that $6 was sometimes like people were stopping food even in America. It's like I can't choose between food and paying for your streaming service on top of everything else. So
Wow.
massive backlash,
Mhm.
and so they have rescinded. They will be staying on YouTube because they realized they lost 100,000 subscribers in a weekend. So
And I'm sure it's
I'm sorry.
100,000 legit subscribers, not
Oh, yeah.
just bots and yeah.
well, it's legitimate. So
Damn.
anyway, there's a lot of stuff out there for that one. But anyway,
That's
I,
crazy.
I gotta tell you, I'm trying to get away from YouTube. Like I
yeah,
really I really don't like YouTube, you know? Like there's a couple of things on YouTube that are interesting, but it's become this like addictive like like toxic place, you know. And I don't really enjoy YouTube anymore, you know. Like I was talking, I actually was I put a community post on my channel today because I was thinking what I might do is do YouTube on weekends and during the week just not even go on YouTube, you know,
Mhm.
because it's just too much. Like you get caught up in these algorithms, you know, they feed you this stuff. Like they figure out, oh, you like to watch that? Well, here's a lot of that, and here's a lot more, and maybe like here's a more intense version of that thing that you thought you were like, and then you're like, whoa, like it's just I don't know. I'm going through a weird phase right now.
See, I don't ever run into that because literally on my bar up top, I have my YouTube link and it takes me directly to my subscriptions. And most of the time, I look and go, okay, that's a new episode, that's a new update. I watch those. I don't watch any of the shorts. And if it's they posted something and I'm not really interested, I'm just like, all right, well, I'm done with YouTube for now. I guess I'll go listen to a podcast or listen to an audiobook or whatever. So
Yeah, you're weird though. You're not like
oh no,
the
I know I am. Like I've talked to other people, and they're like, "You don't go to the homepage at all." I'm like, "Nope,"
I don't
because of
either. No,
exactly what you said, Cyrus. It's like because like I clicked, I made I say the mistake. I went down a rabbit hole literally the other day, and was just like it was something that popped up on the end of one of my things. It was like I bought this American Chopper's motorcycle. Can I get it to work? And I was just like, well, that's interesting. I haven't, kept up with them in forever, since they were off Disney or since Discovery. And I was like, well, let me just kind of see what's going on. So I watched the video. The video itself was kind of interesting. And it was like, and then it's like, what happened to OCC? And this is that, now just, I watched like one or two of the videos and I'm just like, yeah, you suck, YouTube. Like, I'm not falling for this. I went back to my subscriptions, like, nope, watched everything, put my headphones on, go do something else.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll check the subscription out for sure. Very rarely do I go on the For You page. And then the other thing that I keep turning off because it gets randomly turned on every time they update the app is the autoplay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't want to play the next video because you're selecting the video and I don't want you to. I want to pick it. So
Yes, and then now my thing looks like, oh, you somehow or another you started off watching, a woodworker, make a cabinet out of like, old pallets or whatever, and now it thinks I'm a brony or some shit. And it's just like,
yeah.
how did the algorithm go from this? Well, it's like, well, then it played a video where like, oh, look, I took a palette and I made a children's toy, and then it's a history on children's toys, and then it's like, here's the new My Little Pony, and then here's the culture surround, and I understand how it goes, but it's just like I would have never gone down this path. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Ow, ow, ow. Oh, cat. Sorry. She just
No problem. All right. Let's go ahead and move on real quick to the things that we'd like to work. Like I said, I didn't want to make that a whole thing, but I just thought I'd kind of throw it out there because, like I said, that kind of hit. I have more hope now because of you, Cyrus, because I was like, yeah, I'm
Wow.
probably never going to get to much of this stuff, and then you're like, no, in about 10 years here, I'm probably going to have a lot of time on my hands, so
Yeah.
I can make all the things, or I can try to. There's so much stuff I have not watched. There's so many games I have not played. Like that's my partner at work. That's like his goal. He's like, when I retire, he said, I don't play a lot of video games. He's like, I plan on going back and playing all the stuff that I've missed. And I'm just like, dude, that's fantastic. Go do that.
Yep.
So I guess we'll just go ahead and stay in the same order. Kris, what would you like to work on for next time? So we're shooting this at the end of April. May, we're looking at June.
More writing.
Excellent.
And then on my projects list, I have a big whiteboard in the kitchen that's kind of like my data center for everything. That's how I get everything. Anyway, that's my motherboard. Is I have to tidy up the yard. We had a couple of windstorms that have blown things all over the place. It weed. I pulled out a mint plant last year, did not get it in time, so there's some mint left over. It's still growing. It's literally out of the ground. This thing is like, it's growing in the middle of my patio. There's no ground. There's nothing. I don't know what it's growing in, but it's there. I can't throw it into our compost seeder. I'm just going to be a sea of mint. I have to get rid of that. Ugh. Anyway, and then just more. Oh no, it'll be the bookcase. So I'll have to paint.
Oh yeah, she's gonna paint
that. So I should get it.
Oh yeah, go get that.
It.
Yes.
I'll go get it. Wait a minute.
Yes, we have to show something artsy.
Where did I
Cool.
put it?
Oh yeah, no, you moved it because your books. Well, while she's going to find that, I'll go.
What are you going to work on, Ray? Besides finishing the bookcase?
So yes, I'll be finishing the bookcase, and a couple of things to decide on that one for the trim. After that, I really want to do. I'm really torn. I want to do either some drawings, so it's going to be one or the other. Do some drawings, or I'm going to get my guitar going and play some guitar.
Okay,
it's going to be one or the other. I'd like to challenge and learn at least one song before the end of the summer, a new song that I haven't played before. So that's my goal.
Nice.
Yeah.
Any particular reason the guitar? Just
I love playing guitar. I've never learned a song enough to be able to play and sing at the same time, so I think that'd be fun. And I haven't played it in a long time. But I will say, I find that when I play, then I see Logan and Quinn have more interest in picking up their instruments too. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah.
All right, what you got to show for us?
I found it. Okay. I literally set it there today and be like, I'm going to set this here because it's close to where I need it, and then forgot. So in the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, the first movie, they're in a part of New York. It's the 20s, so it's like a speakeasy, and there's this poster, and when they knock on the door, the eyes move. Anyways, what I wanted to do in the back of the bookcase when you open it up is have this poster there. Plus we have a couple of other like movie posters and stuff too, and make it look like it got sort of pasted on there for advertisements and stuff. It's called, and this is also designed by Mina Lima. This is an actual Mina Lima poster. They're the graphic designers for all the Harry Potter stuff. It's called The Blind Pig. There it is.
Nice.
In all its 1920s glory. So I'm going to put that. That's going to be the main showcase on the back of the bookcase.
Cool.
Yeah.
In order to do this, I have to. This came from England too. I have to just sand down all the wood fill, put trim on.
I've got a few more things that we have to do. Then you're going to prime.
I have to prime everything, paint everything, and then I can do this.
Hodgepodge that on.
Hodgepodge it on. Yeah. So then I can do that. But I'm excited to do that because when this. Yeah. I'm like, ooh, I wonder if, and then I went down a rabbit hole, and then they have it on Wayfair, but only in America, not in Canada.
Yeah.
So I had to buy it off the Mina Lima website,
which was fine.
It was expensive.
And it worked out to be we're doing well.
Well, shipping within Canada is expensive too, so it was. Yeah. But I would like so the bookcase I would like for it to be done by June.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Well, you have a big part first before I can even do any of my stuff. So, yeah.
I'm hoping to be done that no more than the middle of May, but I'm hoping by the weekend that it looks a lot better.
That'd be great.
So. Nice. Cyrus, what do you want to work on for next time?
Oh, God. I don't know. I don't have any idea.
Research the entire history of F1 racing, right?
Yes, there we go.
Apparently, yeah. Next time I'll probably have like a PlayStation steering wheel and one of those setups. I have my own uniform.
Why not?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what do I want to work on?
Trying new recipes?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm gonna do new recipes and continue to accumulate DVDs. And what do I want to work on? Well, I'll have a better idea of that probably, because my focus is to try to reclaim some of my time from these things that have sucked my life away, like YouTube and stuff like that. So I don't know, but there will be stuff. There will be stuff. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Nice.
Maybe I'll start to maybe I'll buy a bunch of potted plants, and I'll start to a little garden on my patio, which they'll tell me I can't have.
Aloe's a pretty hardy plant.
So is mint.
As she describes it, like a weed.
I was like, you should send it to me, but then I was like, no, I'd probably get caught up in customs and then be like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna have the conversation with this some bitch, and no, I don't know.
You said it's for Colorado first, and
I'm the worst person to be on this particular show because I don't really have I'm not in a creative mindset these days. I'm kind of trying to get. I don't know. I'm in a weird. Like I said, I'm in a weird spot, man. Oh, you know what I'll do? I'm gonna start crocheting a Freddy Krueger
Nice.
For your potted plant while it's watching F1. Got it. I'll put that all down. I'm going to be working on the house, and I will probably be working on the house for a long time to come. Let's see here. If I remember correctly, I sat down the other night and started making a list of all the things that I need to get done. And I think I'm down to 50 some odd things. So if I just
you just checked something off though.
Keep scrolling.
You checked something off.
Yeah, I've got to go back and check that. Keep scrolling. Now some of these may be simple things, and some of these may be two-part things. Like I might have researched this and then buy it and then install it. That's three separate things because sometimes you have to break those things up. But yeah, some of this stuff is going to be actually building and it's gonna from scratch, not like a kit, because that's always different. So
where's the Murphy door in there?
It's on there.
Okay.
It's down on the list, but it is on there. So it will happen at some point. But yeah, there's just a lot of little things. So and I'm trying to. It's funny. Christy's was kind of getting stressed the other night, and I'm like, babe, don't get stressed like that. We don't have a time limit. We're not rushing. There's nothing going on like that. And she's like, well, I looked it up, and the average American, it takes them 120 or 160 days to fully move into a new house or whatever. I'm like, we're still going to beat the hell out of that number. I said, but there's no rush. We can take our time. We can do it, a little bit every night, and we work on it on the weekends. And this weekend, right now, I'm supposed to be going to San Antonio to do a parade on Saturday. I'm like, it's fine. If we were under pressure, I wouldn't be doing any of this stuff. I'm like, we've got to take some breaks, and we have taken a break, here or there. What was funny was I had originally planned to take a break for Saturday so we could just visit with her brother. Ended up putting together all the patio furniture so we could sit outside. And then we're sitting outside. I was like, this is really nice. You know what would be really cool is if we could set up the fire. Well, that was another project I knocked off the list because I had to go get the stuff to set up the fire. But yeah, it's coming along. So awesome. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be working on for probably the coming next month or two, at least, if not longer. So we'll see. Well, before we close out the show, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a sponsor for the first time on the network. If you've been listening to the other shows, you know that we've been sponsored by Magic Mind. They reached out to me about a month ago and wanted to see if we would be interested in doing a relationship. And I said, yeah, sure, we'll give it a shot. So they sent me some of their Magic Mind productivity energy drinks here, and it's all natural. I have never been one of those people that has taken the 5-hour energy shots or anything like that. I just I I don't drink a lot of caffeine as it is. I'm not like a coffee person in the morning or anything. And I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. It is all natural, unlike those, some of those other things out there. Um, the guy who created it specifically for that. He was trying to get off all of the caffeine. He had a real caffeine addiction, so he was trying his best to figure out an all natural way to still get that kick that he needed without having to go, resort to loads of coffee and soda and everything else. And so they created Magic Mind. And when it first arrived, and I've mentioned this on the other shows, it is a very natural green. I was a little worried that it was going to taste like grass in a blender. I am very happy to report it does not taste like grass in a blender. It's actually decent tasting. Originally,
Can I
I'm
ask
sorry.
a question about
Yeah,
it?
absolutely, go for it.
I just want to clarify. It's called Magic Mind, but this is not like a potion, right? This is
No,
not.
no,
This
it
is
is
not
not a potion.
sorcery.
I wish it was.
Okay.
But no, they actually told me like, well, it's a lot of people take it in the morning to kind of help wake them up, get them going. I've never really had that problem. So I was taking it in the morning. And I noticed, it was fine. I didn't notice a lot. What I found the use for it for me personally was in the afternoons, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock rolls around. The old sleep monster wants to sneak into my office and put me in a headlock, and I'm doing this maneuver while I'm trying to get some work done. And I was like, I didn't take the Magic Mind this morning. Maybe I should give that a shot now. And I've found that it actually keeps, wakes me up in the afternoons. It gives me that little bit of boost I need to at least not fall asleep at the desk. I wouldn't say I'm running around the room like, all jazzed up or anything, but that's how I've been using it, has been in the afternoons to just kind of sleep off the nap monster and help me get through the rest of the day. Because after I get over that hump, I'm usually okay for the rest of the afternoon until evening. So but yes, if you are interested and you would like to check them out, you can go to magicmind.com. We actually have a specific link in our show notes, so look for that there. And if you follow that link and use the code MagicMind20, I believe it gives you a little something special while you're there. So make sure to check them out at magicmind.com. That is our show. Oh, go on.
Does it have ingredients listed on it? Like what's in it?
Let's see here. It was.
Is there Eye of Newt in that?
No, there is no Eye of Newt in there.
Was this made in a cauldron?
Matcha, bunch of vitamins. Yeah. No, there was no potions class involved in making this.
You're ruining my fantasy, but
I'm sorry, dude. I will look to see if we can find a sponsorship with no, I'm not even gonna look at that. I don't want to know what the real magic stuff would be. So.
Yeah, that might be a sponsorship with some problems. That might have some
exactly. Yeah,
we'll baggage.
We'll stick with these people. I'm not worried about them. I can endorse them. So
okay.
That is our show for the month, ladies and gentlemen. If you would please give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, YouTube. You can watch podcast on YouTube, because all of these different podcast services are going away. Stitcher, I think, is officially fully dropped podcast. Google was dropping podcast support, at least in the US.
Still available in Canada.
So yeah, it's crazy. Like all these different places, like you would think, all these people started podcasts, and a lot of them are very financially, successful for them, and yet a lot of the big companies are just like, meh, nah, we're okay, whatever. But yeah, so you can always find us at epicallygeeky.com, where you can find the other shows that we do, including the Epically Geeky Show, Marginally Geeky Show, and Sustainably Geeky Show. We have kind of gotten back on schedule, so we've got new episodes coming out almost every week of at least one of each of the different shows. And then you can find us on social media a little bit at Epically Geeky on Facebook and Instagram. I am not messing with X and everything else. I'm just done with it. So where can we find you online, Ray?
The Reluctant Yeti on Instagram, and I'm hoping to post some new pictures and a video or something of the bookcase when it's all done. So
yes, awesome. Kris, where can we find you online?
On Instagram at Moody Midlife.
Cyrus, can we find you online, or are you just like, nope, I'm done?
If there's a bright center of the universe, no, never mind. just if you really want to, I guess you could just look up Super Mega Graphics 64. If you look up my name, you're gonna find a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, just stick to the Super Mega Graphics 64. And he does some fun game play alongs or watch alongs. I don't know if you would call them, which one you would call them, but yeah, it reminds me of back in the days when we were in college and we're sitting there playing, Resident Evil, whatever it might be, and we're helping each other out. Only thing is you can't hear me yelling at the screen. It's back there. You missed a.
Well, to be fair, I would ignore you anyway if you.
Very true. And as always, you can find my individual wacky adventure online at Optimus Gene on Facebook and Instagram. For everyone on the site, have a good night.